Hey guys, I got a pretty shocking story for you. Government paranoia, teachers suspended after showing students garden tools. This article came out on April the 26th, 2013. Now, the intemperate extreme nature of today's education establishment just keeps on getting more and more absurd, as evidenced by details of a recently filed lawsuit surrounding claims that a teacher was suspended after bringing garden variety tools to class. Attorneys for the Rutherford Institute, a civil rights-oriented public interest legal organization, filed the suit on behalf of Doug Bartlett, a 17-year veteran teacher after he was suspended by officials at the Washington Irvine Elementary School in Chicago for bringing wrenches, pliers, and screwdrivers to class as part of a tool discussion. Those tools, according to school officials, are weapons, you see, and as such are not permitted on campus grounds. Overreaction to a simple teaching demonstration. Despite the fact that all potentially hazardous items were kept out of students' reach, school officials at Washington Irvine Elementary School informed Bartlett, 17-year veteran in the classroom, that his use of tools as visual aids endangered his students. Bartlett was subsequently penalized with 4-day suspension without pay, charged with possessing, carrying, storing, or using a weapon. Again, you just can't make this stuff up. According to his complaint, Bartlett says he suffered humiliation, embarrassment, mental suffering, and lost wages. He's seeking, of course, damages, as well as the removal of the suspension from his employment record. This school's district's gross overreaction to a simple teaching demonstration on basic tools such as wrenches and pliers underscores exactly what is wrong for our nation's schools, said the Rutherford Institute president, John Whitehead. What makes this case stand out from the rest is that this is the latest victim of zero-tolerance policies run amok, which happens to especially be on a veteran school teacher. As stated, none of the students had any access to the tools when they were not being used. They were securely locked up in a toolbox on a high shelf, which was clearly out of reach of the students. Bartlett's only purpose in bringing them was to have a discussion with his students about their proper use. Shame on him for wanting to teach kids how a screwdriver works. This suit is for a violation of the plaintiff's constitutional due process rights resulting from the overzealous applications of political correctness, says the complaint, which also notes that 2 of the tools Bartlett brought him were a pocket knife and box cutter, or the weapons, per the school. On August 8, 2011, in connection with the required tool discussion included in his teaching curriculum, the plaintiff displayed to his second-grade students several garden variety tools, including a box cutter, a 2 1/4-inch pocket knife, wrenches, screwdrivers, and pliers. Now, the complaint goes on to say the visual aids were used in an effort to facilitate student understanding and remembrance of the curriculum. As he displayed the box cutter and pocket knife, the plaintiff specifically described the proper uses of these tools. Neither of the items were made accessible to students. Be afraid. Be very afraid, kids. It goes on to say that a complaint against Bartlett was lodged on August the 19th, that he was charged with possessing, carrying, storing, or using a weapon, negligently supervising children, inattention to duty, violating school rules, and repeated flagrant acts. The school's definition of a weapon is extremely broad. According to the complaint, which quoted from the student handbook, a weapon is described as any object that is commonly used to inflict bodily harm, and or an object that is used or intended to be used in a manner that may inflict bodily harm, even though its normal use may not be as a weapon. Bartlett said that he never had any intention of using any of his tools as weapons, nor did he think he was subject to the suspension or other disciplinary actions for bringing the tools to class, for what turns out to be a mandatory part of the school's curriculum, according to the suit. But in today's breathless, hyper-paranoid learning environment, we are really teaching our kids to be afraid of everything. That is the real crime. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is that we aren't teaching our children. What we're doing is we're scaring them. I mean, I have this assumption that perhaps this might have been maybe an urban area of Chicago, let's say. Maybe one that doesn't have a lot of farms, and with this new whole movement and, urban agriculture and people being self-sufficient. Maybe this is what we need, is to teach kids how to use tools. Maybe we need to teach kids how to fix their own homes. Maybe we need to teach them how to be a gardener. I mean, isn't that what we want them to do? Eat healthier? It just doesn't make any sense. It's like we are teaching kids to not even be able to repair simple household items anymore. Instead of repairing, we just force them to buy a new object. We force them to keep some sort of crazy economy going, when in reality it's only hurting themselves. I mean, I think a child should learn how to use a garden shovel or something like that. They should be able to use a screwdriver, especially in the second grade. You should be able to do some simple manual tasks. I mean, hell, when I was in the second grade, we used to do stuff like build birdhouses. I mean, come on, people. I don't know. Just something I thought I should